Welcome back. This is part 5 of a continuing exercise. This is the locator, and as you can see, it is almost ready to be dimensioned. Before we dimension it, we have to do a few things to it, and we have to understand a couple of other things. The first thing I'd like you to make note of is that the distance between the front view and this right side view, that distance is going to be exactly the same as the distance between the top view and the front view, this distance right here. Now in my case, I have made that distance 4 units. I'm going to click on Layout 1 so that we can transition from model space to paper space. And as you can see, I've already inserted a title block onto this drawing. I'm going to click on that and delete it, and I'll show you in a minute exactly how I got that there. I'm also going to delete that viewport. I'm going to click Insert Block. I'll click Browse, and I'm going to navigate to my USB drive where I have a copy of an ANSI B-size title block. I'll click on it and then click Open and click OK. Now in my case, that title block has already been inserted to the drawing, so AutoCAD is asking me if I want to redefine it. I'm going to say redefine. You probably won't have to answer that question. I'm going to left click anywhere to insert that title block, and of course you can see that it's not aligned properly with the sheet of paper. So I'll click the Move command, I'll left click on that title block, I'll accept that, and then move it from exactly that corner to this corner over here. Now this sheet of paper that we're looking at is a virtual sheet of paper, so there's really no geometry for me to snap to. So let's just get it as close as we possibly can. Left click and then zoom away from this, and now I have a title block. I'll click on the View pull-down menu. I'll click on Viewports and click on One Viewport. I'm going to create a viewport on this sheet of paper. What I'm really doing is effectively cutting a hole in the sheet of paper so that I can see the drawing or the model behind it. And now you can see that I have that drawing appearing within the viewport. The problem right now is that I don't know the scale at which these views are showing. Now ideally I want these to show at a scale of 1 to 2. So let's find out if we're even anywhere close to that. I'm going to move my cursor down here to the bottom of the screen and click right here where it says Paper, meaning paper space. And when I do that, notice that the viewport itself becomes highlighted around its perimeter. It means that model space is active. I can also see, by looking at this number right here, that our view scale is currently 0.548 to 1, when it should be 0.5 to 1 or 1 to 2. I'll click on this arrow, I'll move up through my list and left click on 1 to 2, and as you can see, the view scale within that viewport has changed slightly. I'm going to left click on the word model so that we can transition from model space back into paper space. I'm going to select that viewport and I'm going to place it on a layer called viewport. The reason why is I'm going to want the ability to turn this viewport on and off, particularly at the time that we begin to plot it. But for right now, the next thing I want to do is center this drawing within the drawing area. Now, the drawing area really is represented by everything to the left of that line that I just drew, as well as everything to the top or above the line that I'm going to draw, which is this one. So in other words, everything within this rectangular area is my drawing area. I don't really need those lines, but I wanted to provide some sort of graphic explanation as to what those were. I'm going to click on the Move command and select the viewport. I'm going to move the contents of that viewport. In fact, I'm going to move the entire viewport to, or from, I should say, a midpoint between 2 points. The first point would be this corner. The second point is going to be a apparent intersection. The apparent intersection of this line and this line. Now you can see that I'm moving the viewport about its midpoint. Now I want to move that viewport exactly to a midpoint between 2 points. The first point will be here, and the second point is going to be an apparent intersection of this line and this line. And now you can see that those objects have been centered within my drawing area. I'm going to click on this icon right here that allows me to freeze a layer. I'm going to freeze that viewport layer, and as you can see, the viewport is no longer visible. So now we've made this drawing ready for dimensioning. The only thing we're going to have to do to it, besides placing dimensions on it, is to fill out this title block. And we'll do that at the time that we dimension the drawing.